I've just always wanted to roll into the camera. I am your host today, Jonathan Haddad. Today's National Mortgage Broker Day, and your board of directors is coming at you live. And yes, we're going to have fun. You saw the smiles. You saw me rolling in today. So are we going to come in a little aggressive today? Are we going to talk about all the bylaws and all the fun little things that we've been doing? No, we're not. We are here to have some fun with the community and let y'all know that currently we have the most ever paid AIME members we have ever had. We want to say first and foremost, thank you very much. We have been pushing hard. We have Fuse around the corner. We have our WMN around the corner as well, but we have events galore, and we are nonstop pouring back into you. For those that don't know, a majority, 50% of our members now joining AIME have been in the industry 2 years or less, which is in line with Fuse last year. Of our 1,200 attendees, 45% were first-time attendees. And let me just tell you, we are currently at 40% room blocks for this year. It is going to be a big show. On top of that, we are giving away a truck. Yes, you heard it here first, a truck. For those that don't know, there are a lot of laws that go into that. I didn't know, and we had to make a lot of phone calls to make that happen. So look into the rules, find out how you can win. So we got an action-packed agenda today. We're going to go through a fortune cookie with all of you because why not? We're going to walk through a couple of just questions that our community is asking directly from our board. On top of that, we got this fun little game called one comment. And then we also have a slew of what if questions that your board of directors is going to answer. But look, before I get into all of that, I want to go around and first and foremost, allow our board to introduce yourself. So for those that don't know, my name is Jonathan Haddad. I am AIME CEO and chairman, and it has been about 2.5 years of us keeping our heads down, staying focused on serving you, the community, teaching you how to put more food on your table and how to help more consumers. Plus, we've done an incredible job staying out of the BS. We really have, while keeping our heads down and helping you do what's most important. Because if you don't go out and you don't sell and you don't build new opportunities, guess what? You can't put food on your table. So we're here to help you stay focused. But I am Jonathan Haddad, and I'd like to pass it over to our director of local membership next.
Hi, I'm Melissa Rafai. I'm your local membership director and very new to the broker community, actually 15 years in mortgage, and I have only been a broker for about 2 years now. As John had mentioned, I'm one of those newbies, and I am here as the voice of the local broker. So having a ton of experience on the retail side and coming into being a broker and owning my own brokerage, it was like, what am I doing? How do I do it? And I found this AIME community that helped support me right out the gate. So I'm here to give back to the small broker, to be the voice for the small broker on the AIME board and figure out how do we keep small brokers in business and successful, and how do we help them scale if that's their goals? And that's why I'm here.
Melissa, thank you. And I'm going to pass it over next to our director of regional membership.
I am Samantha Shelton. I am regional, and I think Melissa pretty much summed it up for all of us. My story is a little different. I have been in lending for about 6 years, 5 of which I joined the broker channel pretty quickly. Our founding president, I was lucky enough to work beside Mark, and he taught me a lot of skills that I needed to be a broker owner. I'm here in Michigan, so right down the street from Jonathan and Mark, and so glad to be here with you guys.
And then you left me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Next up, we have our director of national membership.
Hey everyone, Tom Ollis. I'm located here in Minnesota. Have really been a part of AIME even before AIME was started, right? It's really, we're a community of people that I would say this entire board and everyone that I've met, we really try to help others and give to others. So great part about that I love in helping even from a national membership, whether it's small or large for any of us. We want to be here to help. We want to be a voice of reason, make sure that you know all the technology, everything that we have, but more importantly, just get a little better together as we do every day as a group. And excited to serve with AIME also as treasurer, which has been a great role. And we keep seeing more and more success as this our trade association continues to grow and help people.
And happy belated to this guy as well. He doesn't want us singing happy birthday to him, so we're not going to do that on this call, but happy belated to you, Tom.
Thank you.
And then last but definitely not least, our founding president.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just glad. I'll just say this. Yes, I've been here since day one. the best thing I love about this is the people that I've met through this association. I mean, I actually said this to my oldest son last night, talking about like what's important in business and life. And I said, dude, people are the best assets. You know, it's all about people
100%.
at all times. But no, I dabble in a little bit of everything, but I really think like my most favorite thing about AIME is obviously, like I said, the people, but it's also spreading the good word of what we do, because you know, we do make a difference. The team that we have, the board of directors that we have, the committees that we have are absolutely phenomenal, and they are selflessness. You know what I mean? And I just love spreading that word. I'm all about helping people, and just glad I can help.
And Mark's the big dog on escalations.
Yeah, yes. So when listen, that's not a joke. Like when y'all stuff, I know like sometimes you'll reach out to me or y'all might hit up Melissa or Sam or Tom. Just know what we all do is Mark, can you please please take care of this for us. So Mark, thank you for all of that. Y'all listen, I'm going to change the tone here just a second for this community. And I want you to understand why. Today is National Mortgage Broker Day. I spent 6.5 years in retail, and you know what? I'm going to tell you. Did I learn a lot? I absolutely did. I really did. There's a lot that I learned. One of the biggest things that I learned is staying focused and keeping your head down. One of the things that they forced us to do was we weren't allowed to go outside of our bubble. And now looking back, sometimes I think, okay, was that really a good thing or a bad thing? And there are pros and cons. And this message that you're about to hear for those newer LOs entering the space, or even those of you that have been in the space for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you know, the market is the market, and people are getting frustrated right now. You're feeling some of the frustration because some people out there have been waiting on a refi boom. And with what's been going on, it's not occurring. And what's happening is it's starting to create a lot of friction within inside of our space directly. And right now, what we're seeing is you have grown men and grown women spending hours arguing online. And so for those of you out there that catch yourself some mornings where you're going through, you're scrolling, and you know you're one of those focused people, but you can get distracted. We all have a little ADHD in this space. I can share that about myself. But if you're one of those people that start your day in the morning and you see somebody trying to trigger you, I'm asking you to not engage. I'm asking you to not give them your sense of dopamine and lose that for the day. I'm asking you to stay focused on what matters most. And listen, people try to trigger me all the time. You know that, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I strike back. Y'all have probably seen it. But for the most part, I don't. And why? Why is that the focus? Why is that what I'm talking to you about today? Because it's National Mortgage Broker Day, which means you need to focus on you and your business. And for those of us with families, I got 3 kids at home, my wife, my immediate family, so many people that depend on me. Could you imagine if I was spending hours every single week on my phone, on Facebook, looking to get in arguments and fights with people? Do you know that's taking away from their food? Do you know that's taking away from opportunities and relationships that I can be building by being out on the floor? So when people say to me, John, why don't you engage? I don't engage because too many people count on me to stay focused all day. And if you want to find the easiest way to get out of this space and to not be successful in this space, spend 3 hours a day complaining. Spend 4 hours a day going onto the Facebook groups talking about why your way of doing business is right and their way is wrong. Go argue with somebody about why their 1099 versus W-2 is not okay. Go spend 3 hours doing that. Y'all, stay focused on what matters. Stay focused on what you need to focus on, which is being more efficient, focusing on your craft, putting more food on your family's table, and making this a career. This industry has changed my life, and I know it's changed the lives of every single person on this call. So allow it to do the same for you, but it can only do that if you can stay focused on what truly matters. And engaging in arguments online, I'm not sure that's the best use of your time. And the last thing I want to talk to you all about is efficiency. Coming from the retail space, okay? One of the things that was very different for me coming over to the broker space was the units. To make money in retail, where I was at direct to consumer, you had to do 30, 40 loans to make $20,000. Now listen, $20,000, thank God. But 30, 40 units on the broker space, I think you're doing a little bit more than $20,000. And so when I came to the space and people said the average is 2, I was shocked by that. And then I understood, okay, it's a little bit different. You're a little more involved. You get more of the money. However, now as things are getting easier and more efficient and you're watching so much money being poured into technology, I'm going to try not to use the word AI because it's kind of a trigger word right now. So I'll stay away the best I can. But all these efficiencies are kicking into play right now and giving you the chance to go from 4 to 8, from 8 to 16, from 16 to 32. And just so you know, there are mortgage brokers out there right now doing 40 units a month. There's many doing 20 plus units a month. Why not you? What do you have to do to put yourself in that spot? You know what you have to do? Stay as focused as you possibly can. And yes, I came in with some passion today on Mortgage Broker Day, okay? Because this is what it's going to take for you to get through this. You need passion, excitement, and a plan. The plan starts first, but if you don't start executing and you don't start staying focused, come December, you're going to be looking back thinking to yourself, is this really something I can do another year of? And the answer is you can, as long as you have a plan. And my friends, that is what AIME is here to do for you, is to help you devise a plan, help make it easier for yourself, and help you stay focused on the things that matter most. So,
damn, let's go.
How was that? How was that? You like that? I need that Kirk Cousins meme right now, okay? Pointing at me my way. For our board, anything y'all want to add on to that before we jump into our first little thing today?
No, you hit the nail on the head.
We create an environment of winners. So, a lot of the stuff that you're saying are the people that aren't winning that might have that, but our members, the people that actually choose to be involved with a group of people, no matter what the market is, everybody that goes to Fuse leaves and does better. Everybody that engages and looks for help does better, right? So the temperature check on where you're at, if you're not finishing the year where you wanted to, here's the call, right? You don't have a plan? Reach out to any one of us. Reach out to the team members that are a part of AIME. We built a community for you. That's what Jonathan's saying. But hell of a lot better.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive today, right? Little hot. And one of the areas too, I want to just say this to all of you, and everybody on this call I know has had this chance. A lot of us on this call have met millionaires and billionaires. We have, and we've been very fortunate to talk and have a conversation. And I'll tell you, and y'all please keep me honest. Please keep me honest with this next comment. The ones I have met, not a single one I've met has made their money by sitting down complaining about what other people are doing. I've just never seen it. So unless any of y'all have seen that, please let me know. But there's nobody out there that is a millionaire or billionaire that's making their money sitting down talking trash about other people and why they're terrible and all the things that they're doing. Not how it works, my friends. They focus on themselves, and that's what we need to do. So thank you, Tom.
Well,
all right.
And I think too, part of what makes the broker community so amazing for me, coming from the retail banking world, was that there's not a lot of collaboration in terms of competition, right? And so co-opetition, that may be a Julie coin. I don't know where I heard it, but it's like, I have people in my own city, even not just, Samantha's in Michigan, I'm in Tennessee, so we can we're not really competition, but no, I'm talking even in my own city. I've got brokers that live here that have helped support me. And so I think that's what's made the broker community so strong, because the broker community needs to fight to hold our place, right? And grow in our numbers. I know John knows the numbers. He's good at that. But how much of market share are brokers getting? And the only way we've been able to do that is to band together and lift each other up. So if we're at each other's necks, we can take ourselves out. What we really should be doing is having those conversations of cooperation and community so that people want to join us. A gentleman called me, just moved companies, and he said, Melissa, I need a mentor. And I said, you know what? I want you to join Wednesday Mortgage Mornings and listen to this community, because if you want help, the brokers are where you're going to get help. You're not going to get help from your other retail competitors. And that's what makes us so special and so different. So we just have to keep that voice and that vibe going so that we stay strong.
Oh, thanks for the plug-in too for Mortgage Morning, by the way, which I totally missed. So spot on. Thank you, Melissa, too. I completely agree. It's Mark, Samantha, and I are in the exact same spot. We're all pretty close to each other. We talk to the same people, y'all. But guess what? We still talk to each other. We have conversations. I am very aware that there are people that don't want to work with me that want to work with Sam, and vice versa. There are people that don't want to work with Mark and want to work with me. It happens. We don't care. We have conversations, we collaborate, and we talk about what's next. We talk about winning. That is what this is about. So thank you for sharing that. I love it. We are going to dive right in. So this one is fun. Now, this guy, he has been getting more camera time. He is very good at it. Him and I have this beautiful thing called the Broker Power Up. But on the Broker Power Up call, Tommy Golightly pulls a fortune cookie. And today, the man behind the camera, if you shall, sir, bring the Wizard of Oz forward. Can you pull our fortune cookie for today?
Absolutely, John. Today's fortune cookie. Let's see, as I always make a mess on my desk. And today's fortune. Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough. So, AIME Board of Directors, what does this fortune mean to you? I'll read it again. Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough.
Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe it's enough. This has been a huge part of my life for so many years. I've been in this like emotional state, you know, when I was younger and being super reactive all the time. And especially coming into AIME, there was so much drama thrown my way. And so you'd get these like gut feelings. And I think to myself, okay, I got to react immediately. I got to do something right now. And I need to reply. The truth is you don't. You don't have to reply right away. You can take the time right away. You can make sure that, is this really what my gut thinks it is? Most of the time, it is not as bad as your gut makes it out to believe. However, it is really important to seek to understand, to ask more questions. And so that's a challenge I have for all of you. I love this fortune cookie. Don't be like I was. Don't be in that reactive state. Yes, sometimes it's going to feel emotional and your gut's going to feel like this is exactly the answer I need right now. The reality is, if you give it 1 or 2 days, you would be surprised how logic kicks in and you can really map out exactly what to do next. So that's what that one means for me. Melissa, I'm going to pass it over to you next. Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough. What's that fortune cookie mean to you?
I love this fortune because I was just recently in a situation where I was thinking that what I was feeling was like a gut instinct, and then started to identify, is this really a gut instinct or is this fear, right? Because it's in my gut. It's a not feeling, right? Like I have this decision to make. Should I do this thing? And initially I was like, oh, it doesn't feel right, so it must be wrong. Right. And so I love this because what it's saying is when your gut says, ooh, this doesn't feel right, don't immediately say, so it must be wrong. Something bad's going to happen. I feel it in my gut. If you feel it in your gut that something's bad going to happen, is it truly a gut instinct? Or is it a little bit of fear that you're letting hold you back and allowing the verbalization of, it's just a gut feeling. I had a gut instinct. It wasn't going to go right. You know, how many times have you said that it held you back from an opportunity that you should have taken? I leaned on my friends to give me a little bit of courage through that fear. And then turned out my gut instinct was totally wrong. I was wrong. So it turns out it wasn't a gut instinct. It was totally fear. And I trusted my advisors to help me walk through that so that I didn't rely totally on my emotions and lose out on an opportunity. So perfectly timed. Love this. And it's so true, y'all. Give that gut instinct some time and talk to your advisors and mentors through that.
Thank you, Melissa. You're the best. Appreciate you. Mark.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about fortune cookies is you always look at them from different perspectives, right? And the first thing that popped in my head, my gut feeling when I heard that was, you know, like I'm always like, I have to take action on something. It's just the way my brain thinks, you know what I mean? And I have to take action. I was fortunate enough growing up where literally like the Detroit Pistons, you know, I was a ball boy for them for 9 years. Like they would bring me into their practice facility all the time. And I spent every day there of my summer. And I always knew like I needed to work out. I need to do this, but it was never enough. Like you can always get like 1% better every time. You know what I mean? So like sometimes when I do action plans for my day within the business, and this is just the way I was thinking is, okay, I got to call, like I always think I have to write it down right away what my first initial thought was. So if my first initial thought was to call 10 pre-approvals that I have, I would write it down and then say, I can do more, right? And then I would go to 15. You know, so like that's what I trust my gut, but I know I can always do more. That's how I took it.
I love that. No, the perspective thing is fun with these. That's why Tommy and I love doing them too. Like it's just a whole different approach and view for each person. And so I love seeing the way people think as well. Tom, I'll pass this one over to you. Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like your gut feeling is like a compass, right? Like I know which direction, and I like Mark's hit on the head for me. It's like, okay, the direction is I need to call 10 more people. You know it. That's what you got to do. But it's a compass. It's not a map, right? It's going to tell you which direction you should be going, and normally you follow it, right? I would say got to validate it. But for me, you know, as a compass, I can even say for a team member I had a call with early this morning. She's like, I'm not getting a good feeling about this LOA, right? She's about to have a baby here soon. I said, you got to trust your gut, right? There's something wrong with it. But now, like, these are all calls to action. Now I need to map out what I'm going to do, but I have to follow my gut for the compass of where it's leading me. So that was a fun one. I loved it.
Thank you. Samantha Shelton, never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough.
This is so interesting because my initial reaction was like very different than your guys's. And I've been sitting here like, should I change it? But I'm just going to tell you what my gut was started, right? I looked at this like I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. And so jumping back into just working, let alone jumping into an industry that I knew nothing about, there was a lot of like gut, like, ooh, this probably isn't the right thing to do. And I had a lot of questions, and I had a mentor at the time who was in the industry that was trying to help guide me along. And she said something very impactful that I still carry with me today that has helped me even throughout. Like I ask myself this question all the time is instinct starts the conversation, discernment finishes it. And I think that is something that not only in that moment, because being a stay-at-home mom, I'm going to be honest with you. Anyone who has kids, like I was kind of like helicoptery. I was like, don't touch that toy. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't do that. My gut was like, don't do nothing. Like just like bubble, like everything's fine. So like jumping into a world that I had to like really step outside of my comfort zone, I really struggled with that. Am I doing the right thing? Is this how I should be doing it? So I'm really glad that, you know, this girl shared that with me because I still carry it with me today. And in tough times, that's what I ask myself. My gut might tell me something, but where is that feeling coming from? Is that feeling valid or is it an emotional response similar to you, Jonathan?
Thank you. Tommy, we got to clip that quote, by the way. Let's make sure we do that as part of this. That was really good. I love that. So y'all,
what I love, Sam, real quick, just to go deeper on that is you say that your gut wanted to hold you back, but in reality, your gut was truly driving you because it was like pulling you towards doing, like your gut was saying, oh, I want to be safe and don't do this. But something was also drawing you into, I need to get into work. I need to get into that community. So I don't know if that's the deeper gut or what that is, but something was also compassing you, to Tom's point, compassing you into that direction. But then that discernment, that logical piece tells you, maps the plan. So I have this great job, Tommy, on that one.
Well, it is a, you know, I'm big into like angels and demons. Like I have it tattooed all over me. And I am a big believer that you know, growing up, the cartoons for me were Tom and Jerry's, and you always saw the devil here and the angel here. And that's always just stuck with me for the rest of my life. And I believe that voice of good, it wants to win, but so many times we let that voice of, I won't say evil because it's not always evil when we talk to ourselves, but that voice of non-good, we sometimes just let it talk so much louder, right? We let it win so many of those battles, and that voice of good needs to come to fruition. Even if it's a small voice, you have to listen to it to push yourself forward. I'm the biggest believer of that. Y'all, I would not be able to talk to any of you about sales if I didn't drop sales into what we do every single day. So for those of you that are not an AIME member watching this video right now, yes, I'm doing a live advertisement. For $199 for the year, you have the opportunity to be an AIME member, get a ticket to Fuse, to be part of our community, get all of the replays, the resources, and receive entry tickets into the truck giveaway for $199 a year, for you to support this community, for you to stay focused on being efficient, and plus showing up amongst a group of all of your friends to provide value and help you close more loans, because that is how you put more food on your table, and that'll allow you to open the doors into all the the other things that this industry can provide you. We are 5 examples of what this industry can do. And I promise you, if you talk to all 5 of us, you wouldn't believe what we did before this. You heard some of us, but you didn't hear all of us, and you would not believe it. I promise you, none of us are walking out of Ivy League schools, jumping into the mortgage space on our side. We all have different paths, although there's a few people in our space from the Ivy League side that are crushing it that I love. So please don't be offended by that comment. With that said, we're going to pivot into our next thing. So we love to take questions from our community directly from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group, and we have a list of these questions here today. Tommy, I'm just going to read these ones unless you have them ready for us to pull up, or just better for me to read. You're on mute, brother. Can't hear you.
I can read them if you'd like. We don't have anything to pull it up.
Oh, you're good. I'll read the first one. Okay, so Tom, this first one is for you, my friend. This one is from Trisha Miller. Okay. And Trisha asked, with the new trigger leads bill now in effect, how many of you are just doing a hard pull straight out of the gate now instead of doing the soft pull? I still have my borrowers pay for it via the smart link, but previously I was doing the soft pull to avoid the triggers, but would prefer to get just straight to the hard pull if these are now significantly reduced when we pull.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good question because, trigger leads were annoying to all of us. And I say that with some, discernment, because there's obviously brokers that operated with trigger leads. So, it got to the point there was actually more brokers at the end of it doing it than retail, because they found a way to get better to go after your clients still. Regardless of if triggers go away, there's still going to be ways to where you have to protect that relationship. And to me, the question that Trisha asked is more about, respect for that client so that they're not getting bombarded. Okay. So trigger leads, they have went away. We've seen a dramatic reduction in how many phone calls you're getting. However, there's still rights to the people that are servicing that mortgage. And if you look at us as brokers, there's only one company in our entire channel that doesn't have a retention department, right? And for us, that's one out of all of the choices that you have. So I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I like a soft pull because, one, the client doesn't have an inquiry, and as you know, maybe the best loan officers close a 30% ratio. So it's always a little cheaper, and it helps you determine whether or not that client is ready to move forward. But, high level overview, trigger leads don't exist. Doesn't mean that they don't have other banking relationships that they carved out a spot for them to reach out to. The great part that I like about this in our practice is we've got great partners that give free credit reports. So, to me, I would probably try looking at that instead of paying for them, because then it's really a non-question. But trigger lead bill passed. No such thing as far as buying triggers anymore, besides just the banks that actually hold your mortgage that can still reach out to your consumer.
Spot on. Thank you, Tom. Next question that we have, Melissa, this one is for you. This is from Keith Gain. What is your workaround when insurance agent won't or takes forever of giving you the RCE?
So I like to think that all of the partners that I work with in a transaction are my partners. And so when you are working with an insurance agent that was referred, to your client or somebody that they work with, have an existing relationship with, I think it's great to have an honest conversation with that agent about how important it is to you and how important it is to your client that things move quickly. So if everybody on your team, you want your processor to move quickly, you want your closer to move quickly, your underwriter, if everybody's expectation level of you is to move things along quickly, and you've got a partner on your team, you've got a kink in the chain that's not quite getting there, I would have an honest conversation with them and say, hey, look, this is the expectations I have for my clients. I would love to work with you. And this is the expectation I have for you as well. If you're unable to meet that expectation so that we can move things along for the client, I have a couple of other partners that I'm happy to refer their name to who can get this back to me within the next 24 hours. Can I rely on you to offer that same service?
I love that, straightforward and to the point. She's spot on. So RCE, replacement cost estimator, y'all, I don't have anything else for that, switch, find someone else who can get it done.
It doesn't take them long. So that if they're dragging their feet a couple of days, there's just no excuse for that. As long as you've had the conversation, give them the opportunity. Don't just steal it away, right? We all want the opportunity to say, hey, somebody to say, hey, I don't like what you're doing. Can you fix it? And then if they don't, move along. You should already have, in fact, I automatically send out in my congratulations email, we're going to need an insurance quote. Here's who I recommend. You're welcome to shop, and let them take it from there. But if their person's not holding their part of the deal, gotta go.
On to the next one. Hey, this business is not for the faint of heart, but we have very heavy expectations. Next one. This one is for Samantha Shelton, and I think you're gonna like this one. So this one's from Chad. Chad asked, is it just me, or are there others that take slight satisfaction in losing a deal because you hold your ground on your margins on an application for a young entrepreneur that makes 7 figures that is grinding you like it's a used car deal? Chad, first of all, great question. Probably not the best business decision ever made, but I personally will lose zero sleep over this. Mind you, this was for a small loan amount. Sam, what is your take? So obviously, Chad, little frustration there from Chad. We've all been there, Chad. Just so you know, Chad,
all been there.
We love you. We know we've all been there. I probably can think of the last one not long ago. So we love it. We feel the frustration. We love how passionate you are. Sam would love your take on this.
Yeah, this is a really loaded question. I think there's a lot of dynamics happening in here. And like you said, I think we've all kind of been in that situation. And it really comes back to, where are you at in your business? Are you a newer LO? Are you seasoned? I would dissect this a little bit farther for myself. Personally, and I would be looking at it as a whole, right? Like the value of my time versus, did this come from a referral agent? Is this, from a past client? Are these people that I'm trying to retain and keep a good, relationship with outside of this client, right? So I think that this is really loaded. None of us, and just being so transparent, I know, I no filter, we're live, but none of us want to race to the bottom. That's not why I became a broker, so that I could make $0 on a loan. Like that's not the goal of this. Being a broker is to have a bigger piece of the pie, right? That's why we joined this channel, is to have a bigger piece. So I'm not in the business to race to the bottom, but I think that there's also some circumstances that I would take into consideration. If somebody was really just coming at me like, I want the best deal possible, well, I'm giving you the best deal for my time. This is what you're going to get. I think on the flip side, if it was coming from, somebody that I have a good relationship with, a past client that referred them, I might be a little bit more apt to be considerate of being more flexible to keep those relationships positive and strong.
I love it. Go ahead,
I was just going to say, I forgot about this, but I'm going to be honest and say it. When I first opened my own brokerage, right? And I'm not powered by anybody. I'm like, it's just on me, and I don't know. So my first deal, I was competing with a very large name bank, and they were a private client of this bank. And it was my first referral as a brokerage ever. And I just opened my doors, and I did that loan for 0.5%, y'all. Because I was not going to lose the very first deal that got referred to me. I was like, if I have to do this deal for free, I'm closing my first loan aside. Like, I'm doing this deal. And so to your point, Samantha, even though I would never do that, I wouldn't do that same thing. But it was so important to me that I just closed my first loan as my own company that I would have done it for free at that point. So I think you're right. I think it could be situational. Obviously, we have to be compliant and all the things, but make the right choices. What does the relationship mean? But I'm with you. I don't race to the bottom, but in that one time I sure did.
Well, I'll tell you this, our first ever non-Del deal, I sent through non-Del, and we went from making $8,000 to we paid $13,000 to do the loan. So my fault, surprise. So the most I've paid to do a loan is I've paid $13,000. We forgot to let the package, you have to launch. By the way, don't let me freak you out for those that want to get into non-Del. This was something that was so simple, and I absolutely dropped the ball because God only knows why I wasn't paying attention. But so yes, don't just race to the bottom, and don't pay to do loans either. So those are the lessons learned from this one. Next one, Mark, this one is for you from Scotty Campbell. Shout out, Scotty.
I love Scotty.
Me too, legend. The most challenging part of working inside the independent channel is the different investor portals. Trying to lock 2 deals right now, and we're registering them, but the investors portal are so complex, can't get them locked. There's got to be a better way. Who has a solution cooking on this?
Well, okay. Yeah, probably a few of our providers, whatever, as long as they're an approved lender, you could probably lock through them, maybe, you know what I mean? But let's just keep it more granular here. If you sent the loan over to them, the first thing I would have done is told the AE, I don't understand your system. These AEs, they make good money, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that they have to be at our beck and call, but I would definitely call them and say, hey, I'm sending this loan over to you. When I'm ready to lock it, I need you to be available so you can walk me through it. Right? Like, so you just set the expectation right there that I'm going to need you. I mean, you can be honest with them and say, I hate going through new systems, so you're going to walk me through it. Okay. But call the AEs. The second thing that I would have done right away is, and I love Scotty, you know, so this is no offense to anyone here. I would have posted it in Brokers Are Best and said, I don't understand this system. Has anyone sent a loan to XYZ lender? Can you hop on a call with me? And that's the beautiful thing about our communities, because there's so many people that would hop on a call with them and say, I got you, don't worry. You know what I mean? But an overall solution, there's really not one. There's not. Just every lender has their system. Some are good, some are terrible. Some are, you know, you just got to get used to it and know how to navigate it. But the one thing I would say throughout this entire thing is lean on people. That's what kind of goes back to what I originally said. People are your best assets. You know what I mean? So just lean on people, and this community is willing to help as well.
Listen, one thing on that too, I did a secondary session with Rob Piccolo last week. That'll come out. Y'all, a lot of these lenders too, they're also racing to the bottom just because of what's happening in the volatility in the market. Some are just taking losses, and these other shops are having to compete. So now they're taking their losses. I mean, you're talking, Rob says it on, so I'll say this here, but Rob, their last quarter, like they made like 8 or 9 bips per deal. And he said, everybody else is in the same boat right now. So also think about that when you're making these calls. They're not about to just start investing money in the portals. So if you really need to get the deal to somebody to win the deal, and you have to send it to somewhere that's brand new, just get ready for chaos and just get ready to manage expectations with your clients. Like, that's the best that I can tell you. Because to his point, I don't like, there isn't any solution that's coming in hot right away right now.
No.
All right. Last one I will take from Kelly Hall. I have a buyer purchasing her father's condo and would like to have it deeded to her LLC name. I believe it's a no-go with conventional, and they don't really want to do DSCR. Any other options? So look, I'm going to tell you this and tell you to be extra cautious and to double check your guidelines. And here's what I'll tell you. There are many people that move their property into their LLC. Now, the reason people say it's because under Fannie and Freddie's guideline, it says if a property is moved to an LLC, Fannie and Freddie at any point in time can call the entirety of your loan due. So that's what people are talking about. The reason that's set into place is if a property is in an LLC, it is now under a business name. So in the event of a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, you're now going through that business, and it's going to be indicated as a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So it's no longer a Chapter 7 or 13. It is now a Chapter 11, which goes through the business. That means that the bank, to get their money, now has a second layer that they have to get through, which is that property being in an LLC. So generally speaking, if you pay the property off in full, you can move that property to an LLC because there is no mortgage note and you have the title. You don't have to adhere to those banks' laws or Fannie or Freddie's rules and regulations. Now, what I have seen many people do is they would keep her on there, but also add the LLC. I'm not saying this is compliant. I'm not saying you should do it. What I am saying is, in many circumstances that I have seen, they won't call the note due because there's still a personal liability on there. So that's how I would explain it to the consumer. Explain the liability. Now, if this client is very well qualified, I'm going to say something to you that you might not like. Find somebody at a bank, credit union, more than likely, that you can build a relationship with, and give it to them, but ask them for business in return. Credit unions don't touch FHA. They don't really touch VA. They don't really touch bad credit. So y'all, I get business from credit unions here. I've referred business to credit unions. I've built relationships and established referrals. That is exactly what I would do. in this instance, but be very cautious how you give the information. However, pause what I said, take it back, and I gave you a very high-level overview of the why they don't want to do it. I try to explain it first and win the deal that way. But then, two, if that doesn't work, go build that relationship with the credit union and connect them accordingly. There's some sales tactics 101 for you.
I've done that at the credit union and even at one of the banks
There you
that I
go.
had worked at. And the bank, because they're servicing the loan and the credit union was servicing the loan, once they identified that title had been changed, they did reach out to my client. I didn't know. They didn't tell me. The client called me and she said, oh my gosh, the bank or the credit union, I forget which, was asking her for a copy of the LLC to make sure that the owners of the LLC matched the name of the owners that we did the loan for. And they allowed her to keep it in the LLC as long as the LLC names matched who they gave the loan to. Now, to John's point, I know Fannie says that they can call the note due, but that servicer allowed her to keep it like that. Now, a different servicer might feel totally different. So it's the risk that you run, but I have seen it done that way.
It is. I just make sure, right? Fannie and Freddie guideline is a no-go. However, to your point, it does happen. It's just a matter of have the conversations and then don't blame us. Okay. Do not blame us on this. That's on you. All right, y'all. We are going to dive in here to the next piece of this. We want y'all to get to know us more. Who are we? Who are your board members? Pouring back into you. Y'all, they do this for free. They take time out of their day to help and pour back into you. And for those that don't know, AIME needed a lot of help. I'll just tell y'all right now, for the last 2.5 years, a lot of you know that. Some of you don't know that. I'm not here to get into the drama and all of that because we're focused on moving forward. But I will tell you that these individuals have taken a lot of time out of their weeks and have dealt with things that they never needed to deal with in a million years. And I promise you, they're not doing it for a paycheck. They are doing it to help. They're doing it to push this community forward because they truly care about what's coming next. But I want y'all to get to know them more. So I got this game I put together for all of us. What I'm going to do, it's called One Word. I'm going to go around the horn to each and every single one of us. And I'm going to ask the same 6 questions to each of you, but each of you are going to give me a one-word response to each of these 6 questions. I'm going to start with Tom on this one first. So Tom, are you ready?
Ready.
One word to describe what motivates you.
Impact.
One word to describe borrower confidence.
Trust.
One word to describe the mortgage industry's current use of AI.
Emerging.
One word to describe your legacy.
Empowerment.
One word to describe failure.
Ooh. Reactive.
Ooh. One word to describe loan officers who blame the market.
Mindset.
Love it. Melissa, I'm coming to you. Next.
Good job.
Thank
Right
you
out
for
the
that.
gate.
Yeah,
Right
my
out the gate.
answers. Okay, I'm gonna try not to repeat any of yours, Tom.
They can be the same. We don't care. It's just if this is what you believe, it's what you believe. You don't got to change it.
Okay, go.
One word to describe what motivates you.
Purpose.
One word to describe borrower confidence.
I would say fear.
One word to describe the mortgage industry's current use of AI.
Rampant.
One word to describe your legacy.
Community.
One word to describe failure.
Hesitation.
Ooh. One word to describe loan officers who blame the market.
I want to say ignorant, but not an ignorant. You just need
keep
education.
it and go, girl. Keep it and go.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
That's
too.
a great one.
Yeah.
Me too. Let's go with.
But I'm not a mean person. That's why I don't like to hurt people's feelings. You know.
Let's go with Mark on this one.
Shit. Here we go.
Let's go summertime.
One word to describe what motivates you.
Family.
One word to describe borrower confidence.
I'm going to say education.
One word to describe mortgage industry's current use of AI.
Giddy up.
One word to describe your legacy.
No, giddy up's one word. Isn't that one word? Hold on here.
Hey, you can type it as one word. We'll let it
Okay,
go. We'll go
You get a pass,
we'll go
Summers.
hashtag giddy up. One
Okay.
word. Okay. One word to describe your legacy.
Thoughtful.
One word to describe failure.
One word to describe failure. Lazy.
One word to describe loan officers who blame the market.
I can't say what I really want to say.
Say it. We can edit
No,
it.
Samantha, come on.
No, I'm not going to say it because no. One word to describe. Say that to me one more time.
One word to describe loan officers who blame the market.
I'm going to say on that one. I would like to say lazy again.
Keep it.
Lazy.
Lazy. All right, Samantha, you're up. One word to describe what motivates you.
Mine's gonna be a little different, but I'm going with it. Retirement.
Love it. One word to describe borrower confidence.
Transparency.
One word to describe the mortgage industry's current use of AI.
Underutilized.
One word to describe your legacy.
Influence.
One word to describe failure.
Growth.
One word to describe loan officers who blame the market.
Excuses.
Perfect. Thank you all very, very much.
I had a lot of time to think about it.
Oh, that was good. That was really good.
Those are damn, Sam.
Yeah,
those are good.
Those were spot on.
I didn't come up with something different than you guys, so.
No, it's awesome. All right, y'all.
Failure is growth. I got you, girl. That was a great answer.
The next game we have before we get y'all out of here, okay, is very, very simple. So this is a game of basically like what would you rather, but a mix of also some questions in between. So I'm going to go through, ask the board 3 specific questions. Some are would you rather, some are just some deep questions just to really figure out. So for the board here, look, take a deep breath. Some of these are very hard hitting. Tom, yours is the first one. And just let it come out, y'all. Like, let the community really, really hear this one. So, Tom, are you ready? I have 3 questions for you.
Let's go.
All right, brother. First one. You've built at scale, but what has success cost you that nobody sees?
Oh, I think it's so hard to get like deeply emotional on this for me because all of us have it, right? I mean, there comes a cost to success, the same as that there's a cost to not being successful, right? Even this morning as I'm pumping gas and I noticed that somebody put $3 in gas in, which wasn't even a full gallon. It's like I remember those days, right? Like I remember growing up and being that level of hungry. And the biggest thing for me, I would say, if I have to look and what I've seen, it's time away from family. I work to live. I don't live to work. As much as I love what I do, there's sacrifices made. So
awesome. Thank you, brother. The next one. This one for you is probably gonna be fun. Would you rather cut your company in half and gain additional peace, or double it and carry twice the pressure?
I think I'd probably choose the path that creates the most sustainable growth, right? I have to watch on this that it's not because we're judged by everybody with what we say. So for me, it's more, if I had to cut by half, but it gave me more longevity in the value proposition that we have, then I'd do it. To me, it's not a how did we do this year? Like everything you talked about where people are looking at how they did this year, it's always important to know where you're at, but it's more important to know where you're going and what is it going to take to get there. So
you're the man.
Probably cut in half.
The next one. When the money, production, and titles disappear, what do you hope your people remember about you?
That I cared about them, right? To me, this is such a same with our clients, same with loan officers, everybody we interact with, you get a feeling from. I'm grateful that like everyone that's on this screen that I can see are all people that I love. I think you guys are outstanding people. We work hard. We want to help people. I guess if it was at the end of the day, I just want to know that my word meant something to me and that I treated people fairly, and I would give the shirt off my back to help somebody else.
Thank you, Tom. You're the man. The next one, Samantha Shelton, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What was harder, earning your seat at the table or refusing to change who you were once you got there?
Refusing to change who I was when I got there. Earning a seat at the table just takes hard work, right? It's day after day, putting in the time, making it a priority. That's how you earn your seat at the table. But, once you get there, keeping your integrity takes a lot of courage to stay who you are once you get there. And I would say that that's definitely been the hardest challenge.
The next one, would you rather be deeply respected by 10 people or widely admired by 10,000?
Oh, deeply respected by 10 people.
I knew that one was going to be easy for you. What is one part of yourself what is one part of yourself you had to leave behind to become the human you are today?
Comfort. Who I am today wasn't built in being comfort and being happy and easy, right? Especially when I think back into just joining the broker world or just joining lending as a whole, I faced a lot of adversity, like pretty quick, straight out the gate. And that took a lot of growing as an individual. And I'm very thankful for, a lot of the people that are here on the screen, because during those times, I had to step out of my comfort zone and know that not only am I jumping into this brand new role as being a mortgage broker from being a stay-at-home mom where, all day long I was getting love and hugs and kisses from my kids. And then I step out into the world and they're like, hold on a second, right?
Get punched.
Hold on, wait, do I really want to do this? Which goes back to the fortune cookie, right? But yeah, I think that comfort, for anybody, if you stay in your comfort zone, you're going to stay where you are. And I think that that's something that I needed to definitely give up pretty early on.
Tommy, let's clip that and tie that back to the fortune cookie with her, because I think that all stems together nicely. Thank you. I appreciate you. The next one coming up is Melissa Rafai. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
When people underestimate you, does it motivate you, or are you in a stop now where you don't need to prove them wrong anymore?
How did I wake up from the bed that morning? I think I'm in a transition period, to be totally honest. I am hitting my 40th birthday. It kind of feels like a transitionary moment for me into like really feeling like where I'm supposed to be in my life and my career. It's really hit me pretty hard this year. And I would say from a very young age, starting off in the bank, and I was a teller, and I was like, I want to be a banker, and then I want to be an assistant manager, and then a branch manager. And like, I went there fast. I went at it hard. What do I got to do? I was proving myself and learning the things and staying up late, reading Fannie Mae guidebook to my kids. Like I would do anything to show that I could do it. And anybody that underestimated me really pushed me to prove them wrong. I'm coming into a phase in my life right now where maybe I'm thinking, that's cool if you don't think I can do it. I don't really give a shit what you think, for lack of a better word, right? Like, who are you to say what I can and can't do? And I don't need your approval to show you that I can do it or not do it. Like that's not going to affect me anymore. So I'm kind of in this balance, but then at the same time, I will say, like with AIME, right? A number of people came in and were like, who's this girl running for the board? And I'm like, let me show you. I'm a consultant. I'm going to win. So I'll sit here and say that I'm not as affected by people underestimating me. And then somebody does. And then I'm like, I find that young Melissa inside me that's like, let me at him.
I love that. Thank you. That's really good. The next one. Would you rather build something massive that always needs you, or something meaningful that can survive without you?
That it's a super easy, meaningful all day long, right? Okay. Meaningful versus massive is the core of who I am and what I do. But the hard part about massive, because I've got massive dreams and goals for some of you that I've shared my dreams with. And the reason that they're massive with the intent of how do we keep it meaningful is such a difficult thing to do, but massive means you're impacting more people. That's why massive matters. And I think to kind of like to Tom's answer a little bit, right? I would keep it small if it meant it was doing things the right way. But at the same time, I'm always trying to figure out, but how do I double that so that I can impact more people's lives? How do we bring something good to more people instead of keeping it just so 10 people know about it? And, you know, I think the more that you can create something meaningful on a massive scale is where you win. Very difficult to do, obviously, but the goal.
Last one. What has your ambition forced you to sacrifice that you're still not sure was worth it?
So being a mom and being a female in this industry, I think a lot of us might have this same feeling or answer, is that growing up, like I said, I was very ambitious. I went to a ton of networking events, happy hours galore, open houses every Saturday and Sunday. I mean, I cut my teeth working a lot of hours, and that meant luckily I had a supportive husband who was there to help me with the kids, but I've missed a number of things. And I've said to myself, and I say this to other women, hey, don't beat yourself up about not being there for your kids, like maybe some other parents who, you know, drive their kids around and they're there for every single thing, because you're teaching them what work ethic looks like. You're teaching them how to have ambition, how to start their own business, how to, you know, so I don't know if I'm using that as an excuse for self-soothing, or if that is something I'm going to regret later. I don't really know. So I hope that my ambition didn't, you know, it's you know, if that sacrifice was worth it or not, I still don't know the answer.
I thank you for your, I love that answer. And thank you for your transparency. Because I guarantee you many of our community needs to hear exactly that, where it's like, who knows? It could be, it could not. I'm still in that boat, and God willing, I'm making exactly the right decision. So,
and not just for women, I should back that up. Like, yes, I'm a mom, but for dads too. Let's be honest. We all want to be there more for our kids. It doesn't matter what gender you are. We are all thinking, do I need to be at this baseball game and have my phone down? Or do I need to show my kids that working hard? It's like, we're all struggling with that. So I take it back. It has nothing to do with being a mom. It's all of us.
No, I agree. You know, that's why I said community too, even on my end, because I think about that stuff all the time. Like, I try to take the red eyes home, even if I'm exhausted. I try to do same day trips, like where, okay, I'll leave at 4 a.m. and come back at 7 o'clock at night. It's like trying to, and it's like, I don't know. I hope it is, you know, I hope my kids and my wife and everybody said, wow, thank you for doing that for us. But I also know that it could be the opposite. It's just a matter of who I am as a human and everything that I'm doing today. So I'm very aligned with what you were talking about. I appreciate you. Mark, are you ready?
Let's hit me. I feel like I need to give a one-word answer, but I know I don't.
No, you don't have to. After everything you've witnessed in this industry, what truth do people usually learn only after getting hurt?
I'm not a guiltful person, but at the same time, I'm always one of those people. It's just kind of the way I grew up, and you know what we teach our kids with, like, you know, athletics, schoolwork, and all that stuff is you can always do more. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times people realize, and they're guiltful, or when they were hurt, if they would have done a little bit more, you know, they probably wouldn't have been hurt. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have just made those extra calls, you wouldn't have lost that client. You know, like we've been there before, where it's like, shit, if I would have called that client yesterday or last week, like I said I was going to, I wouldn't have lost them. And that's hurt. I mean, everyone on the screen's been there. You know what I mean? Where you thought you had this diehard client, and then you talk to them, they're like, oh, I went with someone else. And it, you know, but so it goes into, I wouldn't have been hurt if I would have just worked a little bit more, if I would have done a little bit more.
It makes me think of COVID. It makes me think of Brexit. I don't know if some of us were here for the Brexit. But all those times I always think, like, I could have put in an extra hour. I could have put in, even though I know we all worked super hard. I know each of us on this call did, but even with that, I still look back and go, oh man, we could have done a little bit more with that. I love that. What is more dangerous in leadership, needing control or needing applause?
Applause all day long. I don't even hesitate on that one.
More dangerous.
It's way more dangerous. I've seen it in this industry before. And when you need applause, that means you're not doing it for the right reason. You know, I think that if I don't mind control, you know what I mean? Like, control's great as long as you're doing it for the right reason, as long as you're doing it for the greater good. Hey, be controlling as you want to be. I don't give a shit, right? Like, but if you're doing things for applause, that means you're doing it for an artificial friendship, basically, is what it boils down to.
Thank you, brother. If this were your final year in the mortgage industry, what would you immediately stop pretending matters?
What social media thinks.
Yes, there you
You
go.
know what I mean? Like it's spot on. I mean, there. I'm not going to say it. No, it's just everyone has an opinion. You know what I mean? And it's really weird as my kids are getting older. I've been talking to them more about like philosophical things and mindset, like that stuff. And it's like, hey, who cares what someone thinks? Like, no one cares what you think. The only people you should care that think like what they think of is God, your family, and maybe your boss. You know what I mean? Because they're your employer. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, if you're just doing the right thing, like always do that. If you do the right thing and someone doesn't like you for doing the right thing, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, and I keep talking about like how, and it's happened with all of us as unfortunately, guys, we're all getting older. You know what I mean? Like it's a fact, right? And your circle gets smaller. You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing. So no, that social media stuff, I love getting on there. It's fun seeing some things you can learn from it. But as soon as it gets negative, I'm out the door.
Thank you, brother. And then Sam, if you don't mind, I have 3 questions for me.
Yeah, it's your turn, John.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You've accomplished more than most people ever will. What are you still trying to prove, and to whom?
I am trying to prove to myself that I don't have to prove anything else to everyone else. I'm trying to learn how to not be reactive anymore. I'm trying to learn how to be peaceful and content with what I have right now. I'm working very hard on understanding that I don't have to push. Things are gonna, fall in line as long as I execute and do what I'm supposed to do. So I'm working really hard on slowing my mind down right now and knowing that it's okay that I don't have to prove to anybody. And that's always been a huge struggle of mine. I've always had this Superman complex. And it's like, I want to fix it. I want to do this. And that's just how I grew up. It's just part of my journey and my story, but that's definitely something I'm working on.
I love that. We all have a little self-doubt. So I love that. Would you rather build the biggest thing of your life and miss pieces of your children growing up, or build less and be fully present?
I know everybody wants me to pick the latter on this. I'm working hard to be fully present, but so much of who I am and what I do is tied to my work and I love to work. I love to get up and build. And so I'm working on that. I do want to be, I'm pretty present. I feel really good about how present I am, but it would be hard for me to pick that last one here. So I would right now with where I'm at, I'd rather build the biggest thing of my life. And I know I'll miss stuff, but to Melissa's point, that is part of where I'm going towards now. And I just pray that I do a good enough job showing up when I need to, making sure they understand who dad is, what dad's built to do, and making sure I communicate with my wife in the best way possible. So I'm not ready to just be fully present. I know it's a focus I have to get to, but I'm not there yet.
I love that. Work-life balance. When people say that, it always gets me because I'm like, it's more like a work-life harmony. Like they have to like work together to get to the end goal. Love that. The industry sees your intensity, John. What do people closest to you see that the rest of us never do?
Let me refer it on my side while you do that.
I'm not a robot, like I think that's the biggest thing for people that really know me is like, I have more emotion than I think most people could even handle. Sometimes I do think I love more than some people are even willing to be loved. And I think that's the hardest thing for me is I have this weird line sometimes of having to be a robot all the time. And I am systematic. I can think of things on the fly. I can give you a very corporate answer. It is the world I grew up in, and it's hard to take that away. But for those, a lot of you on this call know me very well. And I hope y'all would say the same thing is he's not robotic. He loves a lot. He cares a lot. He fights a lot. He pushes a lot. And hell, I cry, I cry too. So that's the part I wish people could see more of. And I got to do a better job of posting stuff like that. Melissa gave me really good feedback not long ago. And I started posting a little bit more, but even posting like more about my family and my wife and the fun things we have to do. Like I love dating my wife. I love taking trips with my family on vacations. I do love doing that. I get to do that. And so that's the part I wish people got to see more of.
I love that.
You made me a little emotional on that one. So that's a chill. Y'all, We just want to say happy National Mortgage Broker Day. This community is here for you. I hope you got to know who we are, what we stand for. It's been a little over an hour here of your time, and we are grateful for each and every single one of you. So until next time, ask us any questions y'all want. If you want to get to know us more, maybe you want to see more of these. This was fun. I don't know about y'all, but this might be something we can add to our repertoire once a quarter even. So thank y'all very much. Thank y'all for taking time out of your day. Thank you to this board. Please, if you see them, just shake their hands, give them a hug, say hello. They do more than y'all could possibly imagine, and we are eternally grateful. Till next time, take care and happy National Mortgage Broker Day.
Happy National Brokers Day.